Hey guys, how y'all doing today? I was trying to think about what my next video was going to be, and I decided to look at my book reviews. So I don't know if you all see me talk about book reviews before, and I'm kind of on the side that authors should not should not read their reviews often. But I also think that as a writer who is always trying to get better, you should read your reviews, even in negative ones. For those who do not have thick skin, maybe have a friend or I don't think I can say beta reader, um, but maybe have someone pick out a few um, a few reviews that have some um, not negative, but some good criticism. So good criticism is very good. Think of it just like if you're in school, your professor, or if you didn't go to college, like your teacher, they will give you good details, what you could do better. And I don't think that we should shy away getting feedback, even if it's not always what we want to hear. So definitely, um, I have grown a lot based on feedback, not just from beta readers, because a lot of times um, beta readers do not be very they aren't very direct or not honest. They are not very honest with their opinions, and they aren't critical reviewers. So it's not a knock on the beta readers. I try my best to mix up my group of beta readers when I use them, so I can have some more critical thinking mindsets, and then those who are just readers for fun and who can give me great feedback on a reader's perspective on character, plot, etc. But there is a really great benefit to reading reviews because they are very honest most times. Um, a lot of times you can do a lot of paid programs, a lot of paid things where you get reviews, but most times with those, especially if you're getting reviews, paid reviews from a really great, well-known company, you'll still get a pretty honest opinion. Kirkus reviews and some other reviews where you have to pay a submission fee or you have to pay. And I'm not against paid reviews at all. When I can afford paying for a Kirkus review, I'm going to pay for it. So I'm not against paid reviews. I don't believe all paid reviews are biased or that they will, automatically give you a 5-star review. I think that they mainly, the good ones, some of them are, you pay them and they give you a little sentence and it's a 5-star and you pay for that. And if you do that, I'm not talking about that aspect. I'm just talking mainly about, the professional reviewers who want to get paid for their time. So editorial reviews, paid reviews, I don't see a problem with that. But anyway, going, I'm losing track. So focusing on today's video, I wanted to I already started reading some of them, and I just see my growth. And I think when you look at your reviews, even the 1-star, 2-star, you see the you see some positive things within what they said. So in my very first book, and it might be easier for me to do this because I have books to compare reviews with. if you're just starting out, you have one book and you got a lot of negative reviews, it's probably going to be harder to think positive because you don't have your next book to say, oh, they're seeing improvement. They like this book. So it might be more difficult, but I really want you all to stay positive, even if you only have one book and you have negative reviews. Find something positive within some of them. Some people are not good reviewers. Some people, they'll give you a 1-star, 2-star just because of little things, or they like, oh well, I didn't connect with the character. It doesn't matter if the book was well written or if the story was good. Or they'll say, oh, I didn't like that relationship pairing, so it's a 2-star. Remember, if it helps you to lessen the blow of these negative reviews, remember they are not professional reviewers. They are not editorial reviewers. They do not understand literature on many levels that you might actually understand. So I'm an English major. I got my bachelor's degree in English, and I've been writing for a long time, and I've been in the company of many professional people. And again, not every professional person will be a great writer. So I don't want to say that, but I do want to say be mindful of a balance. So don't take every negative review as your book sucks, because many times reviewers are reviewing just based off of their own emotions and, you know, what they felt themselves. And that is not always the best way to review a book. When I review a book, I always make sure I try to find the positive. I also try to be kind of critical, a little critical, and discuss about the main important things, you know, main character, setting, you know, how well the book was written, about the flow, and different things. So I'm looking at my very first book, Strange Things Await, which is a urban fantasy novel featuring 2 African American witches, young witches in their teenage years, who go to a magical boarding school for the supernatural. And not just the supernatural in general, but the rich and the influentiary. So example would be Natalie. Natalie King is one of the main characters. She's rich, but she's also the daughter of the mayor. So she has both things going for her. And she's from a very well-known ancient coven of witches. So she gets in. Another good example might be Leslie, who is a phoenix. And she's not wealthy at all. But she, because of her family, because of her species, because of how rare her family is, she's able to get in, even though she doesn't have the wealth. And then we have multiple characters in the book, you know, phoenixes, werewolves, werewolves, vampires, witches, many unique characters. I really wanted to focus on not having just your basic vampires, werewolves, and my main characters were witches. I really wanted to go outside the box. At least I attempted to. I started watching the TV show Legacies for about a week. This might be the second week. And on Netflix, I started watching it. Definitely, I'm not making no accusations, but definitely all those characters in there. Anyway, so let's read some of these reviews. Now I'm not going to read the positives first. Might not even read the positives at all, because I really want to promote walk what I preach, not just talk about it. So if I'm talking about being comfortable and finding positives within your negative reviews, let's start there first with my own. So, Strange Things Await. Let me see. On Amazon, I'm going to look at Amazon first. Then I'll glance at Goodreads. So on Amazon, I have 19 global ratings, and it's 4.1 stars out of 5 stars. Very good. No 1-star reviews. I have 2-star reviews. So I have. Oh, let me do the percentages. So I have 59% 5-star ratings, 17% 4-star, and 4% 3-star, and 20% 2-star. Ouch. Okay, so I have 4 2-star reviews for Strange Things Await. Not that bad. I mean, considering when you hear 20% 2-star, it sounds a lot like damn. But only 4 2-star reviews, within the 19. See, positive. Think positive. 4 out of 19. That's not that bad. All right, so the first one, I think they could have gave me a 3-star with the way they wrote this review, tricking me as it was. It's still my favorite 2-star review. They should have gave me a 3-star. This person seems more critical, so it's okay because they gave a really great synopsis about the book, and then they talked about what they enjoyed, and they was very, very fair with their review, and that's what I really enjoy. If you're going to give a review, especially a negative review, say why. Be critical, but that way I can grow. So I will say most of my reviews, they all touched on editing. Early on, they touched on editing. And that was my fault. I was a newbie. So a lot of people talked about freelancers. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can get a freelancer. I'm supporting someone who's, trying to come up just like I am. And I also, on my budget, I'm new. I'm publishing the book myself through my company. I don't have money, so I definitely spent a couple $100. So I mean, I did spend money, but I did not. I obviously did not pick the best editor. A lot of these freelance sites, you really have to. I learned a lot on how to really pick them and try to do your best. And definitely now I do more than one editor. It's so much more money, but it's always better to be safe than sorry, because a review, you can't delete your reviews. You can't be like, oh, please, come on. I just edited the book. Can you please change your review? Can't do all that. So this review is by Allie P. And she gave me a 2-star review. And it says, too much drama, not enough plot. So, it is a lot of drama, so I can't deny it. It is a lot of drama going on. I think it's fun that way. But anyway, so she said this book, they said this book was strange for sure, but unfortunately not in the best way. I felt like the story jumped around a lot and there wasn't anything to let you know the book was switching point of view. Well, I don't know exactly if they're talking about I switched between Natalie and Alexandra a lot of times. And then I also did a chapter or a few pages. I think it was a full chapter, or it was just a few pages of point of view from Brenda when she was in her office. So I don't know. But that was the first one, first review that talked about that. So I'm not exactly sure what the person was talking about. If they're talking about that, switching between the characters, or if they mean more so like present and past tense. Now that was noted before. I've gotten that since I was in school. Definitely have not learned how to stick with tenses. So I'm not sure if it's a tense point of view or if the person is talking about character point of view. But anyway, it says there was an excess of drama that wasn't necessary, and it felt like the author was trying to cram in as much as they could. I don't know. What was going on was a lot it was a lot going on, but that was the the point that was on purpose. So let's see. So the main things, the kids are going to school, and then Natalie is trying to solve her father's murder, and Alex is pretty much trying to please her mother and do what her mom wants, but also learning how to come into her own, to stand away from her mom, and to also discover who she wants to be, And then there's a monster killing students. Well, three main things, but they kind of well, this person didn't feel like it flowed together. I felt like it flowed together. Who knows? So we also have, they describe the character, Nat's 15-year-old witch starting at the Magical Virtuous Academy. And then it said the school is supposed to help train the students in their various abilities, but instead they terrorize each other, and the staff mostly fades into the background. I wish the school had been more strict and enforced some kind of order instead of letting the powerful kids hurt the weaker. Now, that part I felt a little unfair. Not from this person directly, but in general. I think maybe one or two more people kind of mentioned about something similar. But I'm like, do y'all say the same thing with these TV shows? I'm like, I was watching Legacies, and that's even worse than my book because ain't no teachers around. I don't know who's teaching what. I don't know what classes they take. I don't know who teaches the classes. They over here, monsters are coming up in their school almost every damn day. And where the teachers at? They don't never help save these kids. If it feels like those teachers say they don't get paid enough and they just stay in their classrooms, or they just clock out. They like, oh, another monster? Nope. Clock out. I don't know what's going on. But at least in my book, it's a very big school. I described it as and you can see a little on the cover too. I described it as an older, a big ass building. If you could imagine like Hogwarts, but not that big. But it's just like a I don't know. I was envisioning almost like a bigger Georgetown University, the big old buildings, big kind of more of a older character. But I described the school, the multiple different buildings, and it's a big ass campus. So the teachers can't be every single place. If the teachers are teaching, and this is a boarding school, listen. The teachers are there to teach. There is security that I talk about, but it's not like every hallway, every corner. Just like when I'm in school, And nobody's fighting. No teacher is going to be around all the time. I'm telling you, the stuff that goes on, y'all know daggone well what goes on in y'all school, and y'all not even supernatural. So I felt that was unfair to say, because it's realistic. Teachers are not everywhere. They're not at every corner. And when fights break out, unless it's a huge commotion, they ain't want to hear nothing. They ain't want to know what's going on. But there is some incidences when they do get caught and they get sent to detention. Okay, let me keep going. And then the other one was, I thought it was unrealistic that Nat kept jumping into relationships and saying she loved people after a week or two. I don't remember her saying she loved them all. And then let me finish the sentence. And then they go on to say her relationship with the teacher was especially skeevy. It was supposed to be. And I was disappointed in her choices. And her choices there. Nat was not a good judge of character. She's 15. And needed someone older to help guide her. I don't disagree with anything they said. But except for the unrealistic part. That's the only thing I don't agree with. They said they thought it was unrealistic that Nat kept jumping into relationships. But she's 15. She's not in serious relationships. In the beginning, she starts a brand new relationship. She was dating him, okay, with Russell. So Russell's a vampire, and Natalie, Russell's upperclassman. He's cute, he's hot, and he's interested in her. So, I mean, at that age, she's 15. This is her second year at the school. And this upperclassman is interested in her. And she's like, oh, he saved me. And he wants to be my boyfriend. So I don't think that was unrealistic to have the upperclassman who is, defending you and thinks you're cute, giving you attention. He's, telling this bully, Hamilton and some other kids, to lay off of you. He's your knight in shiny armor. So I felt their relationship was fine. They didn't know each other very long, but it's high school. You know people. And it's a boarding school. Just because he didn't court you for months doesn't mean if he wants to date you, you're going to say no. Y'all live together almost year round. Y'all see each other. You spend time around each other. You know of each other. And this is your second year. So you already know who he is. Y'all know each other. So jumping into that relationship, they're teenagers, hormones. They're not adults like us. We're like, oh no, we gotta make sure he got good credit. We gotta make sure he ain't got no kids anywhere. We gotta make sure he ain't crazy. Gotta make sure he got a house, a car. Gotta make sure he got a good job. All these, they're teenagers. They're like, oh, you want to be my girlfriend? You want to be my boyfriend? Okay. I don't think they do it like that, but still. So it's very fast with teenagers. And then she ends up okay, well, this video is going to be a little bit spoilers. If you want to go read the book, kind of pause for a second. But she also ends up from a game of theirs, she ends up kissing a werewolf named Eleanor, nicknamed Ella. And Russell sees her, they break up. And then she has a friends with benefits type of relationship with this werewolf. So she's not dating her. she has a friends with benefits relationship. So it's not a serious relationship. And during that time, she ends up getting groomed. And I mean, I did everything to make sure that the relationship with the teacher, as mentioned, was not positive. Her friends was like, "What the hell are you doing?" They were sneaking around. Everything was written to say this is not okay. It is skeevy. That's the point. He was grooming her, manipulating her. It was not a good relationship. But her mind was traumatized. She just over that summer, just a few months ago, lost her father. She saw him, his body gruesomely being scraped up off of the daggone pavement into bags. Okay, so it's not like, oh, he died in his sleep. He of old age. She had time to process and be able to deal with it. A 15-year-old girl saw her father's body being scraped up. He was brutally murdered. And she continues throughout the novel. In the very beginning of the book, she's having trouble with sleeping. She's having trouble with her classes. She's isolating herself. This is someone who is going through a lot of mental trauma. And she's looking with Russell. She was looking for a savior. She was looking for that person to almost not really a father figure, but that replacement of someone who makes her feel safe. She was looking, he made her feel safe and loved, and it felt good for her. But she wasn't ready for that. She wasn't ready for a serious type of relationship. And I think that it made it easy for her to transition into Ella because she can have that freedom. She could just satisfy her needs, just like a lot of times with people who are trying to escape from things, they drink or they use drugs. But for Nat, she used Ella, sadly. And it's realistic. It's not, flowers and it's rainbows and bunnies but it's real, and maybe for the audience, probably 16 and up, maybe it was too real. It dealt with issues maybe too deep. But for me, I really wanted to show her trauma, that it was just impossible for me to vision a well-adjusted teenager who doesn't know who murdered her father and who witnessed him being scraped off of the ground. That is gruesome and horrific. So she is not stable. She's trying to find herself. She's trying to find answers. And that's from the beginning, very first page, the very first chapter. She's trying to come to terms with what happened. So she is not well adjusted. So it's very realistic for her to be kind of off the hinges. So she uses Ella almost like people use drugs and alcohol to escape. And then she learns about this teacher who knew her father very well, who was pretty much a not an athlete, but he worked under him, under the father, and Nat was desperate to learn more about her dad, just soak up, like she had someone to talk to about her father, and he was just filling her up with different stories about her dad and telling her about him, and that connection ended up being a way for the teacher to groom her and to manipulate her into thinking that she loved him, that she wanted to be with him. And again, a kid that is vulnerable, a, a kid like Natalie in her situation is vulnerable to those type of situations. So that's my explanation. I don't want to say I disagree because, it's a 2-star. I'm just disagreeing with that thought process because of what I just explained. It's very realistic. It happens every day and it's realistic. Okay, then, but the other stuff I told you, some of the other stuff they say I agree with. I agree. And then it said they did, nowadays, I don't know what the hell to say. Don't get me. All right. They continued on to say, I did like the friend group of different supernaturals. Yay. Some of the kids could see the future, and there's a Phoenix, which was cool. Leslie is cool. She's very cool. She gets a lot more attention in book 2. They go on to say, I wish the plot had focused more on the friendships and cut out a lot of the unnecessary side plots. No, but I did, even though I don't fully agree, I did, because of this review, try my best to do a very balanced plot and friendships in the second book, in the sequel. So in the sequel, I did a lot more on the group of friends. So I focused a lot on their dynamics and also on the individual closeness of different friendships within the group. So as you all who read the book know that it was one group, Natalie and her group of friends, and Alexandra and her group of friends, and they melded together. So in book 2, I definitely focused a lot on that, on, the different groups of friends were a lot closer because they know each other longer. But then coming together, who is, actual friends, or who's just like the mutual friend of friend, or just like an associate, or who really ends up being close together just as they were apart. So definitely focus a lot on that. I thank the reviewer, because I definitely I try to take things away from the different reviews, even the negative reviews, and implement it in my sequels, in my next books. All right, the last sentence, it said, this did wrap things up at the end. Thank you. I did wrap things up. But it said, and I'm happy because I would not read a sequel. Come on, all this positive stuff you wrote. It ain't that much negative you wrote. You can read the sequel. I'll send, if you are reading this, Allie P, I will give you a free signed copy of Darkness Awaits, the sequel, just so you can read it. And then it says, this had potential to be good, but it needs a rewrite to clean up the plot and make Nat a more likable character. It's only book 1. You don't know Nat that well. Okay, that's fair. But I mean, not every character has to be likable. And then also 4 romances for the main character. Oh my gosh, this again. Also 4 romances for the main character. Seems excessive, and the cheating really turned me off. I guess the cheating is Natalie made out with Ella while she was still with Russell. Okay. I don't like cheating either. I agree. I don't like cheating either, but for the purpose of the story, I don't have nothing to say because I agree. I agree. I don't like cheating either. But the four romances, what the hell? Four, I can't even speak. I'm shocked. I explained up above about the other relationships, but four romances for the main character. What four romances? Ain't no four. Wait a minute, let me look. All right. So for Natalie King, we have Russell, and then if they're counting Ella, but Ella was friends with benefits. There was no romance. There's not romance. It's friends with benefits. It's just fucking. Okay, it's not. Okay, I'll count. Okay, so Russell, Ella, and then the professor. In the first book, and so really it's only two, but okay, fine, three. Who was the fourth romance? Four romances. Maybe they got confused. Maybe they really meant three. I don't know. Really two in my opinion, but whatever. Okay. And then just quickly, cause let's see, I'm the video's going long. I'm gonna have to do separate videos for each book because this is longer than I thought it was going to take. And then let me do one more 2-star so I can go ahead and move on up. Let me see. Yeah, one of the earlier reviews. No, this other reviewer, JC, I think JC Ray. The book starts. Starts off attempting to be mysterious, but it came off extremely annoying to me. So it was a editing thing. They gave an example. He had been found. He died, and what happened to him? Cause I didn't want y'all to know who the he was. Wanted y'all to find out a little later on down the line, a couple sentence paragraphs, that it was her dad. So yeah, I was. Okay. I was trying to be mysterious. They found it annoying. I don't know if it was annoying or not. I didn't. That was the first review that mentioned that. But they got me. I was trying to be mysterious, so they didn't think I pulled it off. And then they said the plot was basically non-existent. At 44% of the book, I still felt like nothing had happened. I don't agree, but you know, I don't know. I mean, we had a murder. We had a couple of murders, like nothing. They said at 44% of the book, I felt like nothing had happened. Wait a minute. Nothing had happened. Definitely nothing exciting or anything to draw me into the book. So maybe they don't mean nothing happened. They just mean nothing happened that was exciting to them. Because a lot happened. a lot happened. There was a lot of people. There was people dying. Really? Damn, they heartless. I wonder how they review like mystery and murder books if they read them. Like, damn, somebody dying, a teenager dying, a body being discovered. Okay, that doesn't draw you in to find out what the hell was going on. You ain't want to know what the hell going on in a high school. That bodies are being found and are dropping. Okay. I mean, the back of the blur, that was the main focus. Hello, I said, if you that wasn't exciting, why you read it? But okay. I ain't going there. Okay. But the next one, now the next one, I didn't get that one at all because most of all the reviews, even the more lackluster reviews, all gave positive about my world building. Um, so a lot of people enjoyed the world building, but this person they definitely did. They said the world building is unconvincing and severely lacking. I'm still not entirely sure what kind of world setting this is. I mean, that was the easiest one. The easiest thing to understand in the book. All the modern thing. Okay, anyway. And then let me just quickly maybe read something else. I can keep going on and keep y'all too long. And think all the YouTube tips say keep it short. Keep it short. Uh, All right, no attachment to any of the characters. Okay. Writing, editing, subpar as well. I agree. Very first novel, I hired the wrong editor. Definitely agree with that. Then okay. So going on. This person, Danielle Jones. Overall, the plot is solid. Okay. Um. mm, so they said that I think they're talking about Natalie. Natalie has no idea how strong she is, yet the book kind of mentions it like a footnote. The author seems to skip over a major point that makes the character who she is. She has no idea how strong she is. Dude, Natalie was getting her butt kicked a lot of times. She knows she ain't strong. And then it says she has no idea how strong she is. But towards the middle and towards the end of the book, she's over here doing some badass magic, and she's over here teaming up to save. Okay, I don't know. And she has no idea how strong she is. Why would she try to save people? Like at the football field, I mean, her and her friends, they heard her scream, they heard some stuff, and they ran towards the danger. I don't think somebody who doesn't know they're strong will run towards danger to go save somebody. And then later on, she keeps confronting people, mainly Alex and her group of friends. She keeps confronting them, even though they're supposed to be, the badasses of the school. I don't know. I don't agree with that one. I felt like Natalie, she knew how strong she was throughout the book because she kept standing up to bullies. She was over here saving people's lives. But I don't know. Okay. But I did remember what you said. And then book 2, I tried to make sure more of an effort on making that more deliberate and more of a focus point on her strength. So again, even though some things I don't completely agree with all the time with more not negative, more lesser reviews, 1 star, 2 star, etc. I still find a way to take things out of the reviews and to implement them in my next books. Because a lot of times, especially thankfully with my more lower reviews, a lot of these people, they were very well, very well, they wrote very well, their review very well, so I knew why. And I could change something in the next book, or I can maybe not change, change some things, but also maybe make my intentions more come across better. Because sometimes as a writer, we know what we want and we know these characters in and out, but it always doesn't come up and show through the paper, the words on the paper. So definitely, even though I don't agree with what they said, I took it, and I did some stuff in the second book. So hopefully, if Danielle Jones read the sequel, hopefully they will feel that that's no longer the case. Okay. And then said, funny thing is, I could see this as a television show on CW. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, then the last 2-star review talked about editing, basically. Editing. Which I get. Again, I agree. And my 3-star reviews. Oh, I ain't got one 3-star review. One 3-star review. And it did talk about editing. So they only talked about editing. So I'll keep going because again, I agree. And then 4-star, I got 3 4-star reviews, and then I have 11 5-star reviews. Yay! Okay, so I'll read a positive 4-star so I can end this video and go on to the next book. Oh, that person just said they enjoyed it. Okay. Dang, these positive reviews ain't as well written as the. Let me not see, because I don't want them to start giving me negative reviews. But these the 2-star reviews are more detailed than the positive. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think. This one is just good job. They liked it, and then the other one was almost like a little synopsis, and then okay, let me see if maybe the 5 stars has some good stuff that I can read. The story is captivating and one of the best I read so far. Okay. See, it's, to each his own. Let me see. This book captured my attention right from the get-go. Awesome, okay. The other person from the get-go said it was annoying. Okay. So you see, it's different readers like different things. I read the prologue and thought good, but not really my genre. I read the first chapter and thought okay. Read the second chapter and could not put the book down. Every second I had to read it. I have not been so caught up in characters since reading The Stand. The only downer was the book ended. Guess what? I'm going to read again. This is a must read. Oh. Okay. I love that reader. Next one says Hogwarts meets Degrassi High. Now I can't remember. I remember in the general sense Degrassi, but I watched that maybe one, couple episodes when I was real little. So I don't remember it that well. I would prefer more Hogwarts meets Gossip Girl, just because Gossip Girl, the kids are, rich and living that type of lifestyle. But okay. exciting and pulse-shattering from the very beginning. And then this reviewer, they put trigger warnings. Okay. Rape attempt, age gap romance, teacher student. Now don't do trigger warnings because I don't even know what to put there. I mean that I could put that there. But first time I saw a review that did trigger warnings. So okay. Maybe something I have to think about. And then it said another one said it's a well-written story with rich characters and plotting. They like my plotting. Those other reviews, it was like, nope, I don't like the plot. We need okay. And then the other one, a synopsis of the book. It said I like this book. Okay. You will find it on my highly recommend pile. Then the other one, letter storytelling. The author has a seamless way of capturing the reader's attention. Would totally recommend, especially with gift season approaching. Awesome. Y'all awesome. Okay, so that was the reviews on Amazon for Strange Things Await. And I did say it on Goodreads, but I'm not going to do the ones on Goodreads. I'll just tell you what the average is on Goodreads, just so you see the comparison with Amazon, but I'm not going to keep y'all and read these. So on Goodreads, I have 23 ratings and 19 reviews. Oh, I forgot to do the ratings on Amazon. Okay, whatever. On here, it's a 3.04 star rating on Goodreads. So obviously the ones on Amazon are much better. I had a 4.1 over there. So on Goodreads, they don't do percentages based on what I can tell. So yeah, I don't see that. I was scrolling. They said one of the positive reviews. I'll do one positive review over here. You all can read the rest if you like. It gave the synopsis, and then the dark magical adventure, and Jamila Stone is clearly an author who pays careful attention to the needs of her plot, cycling us through lots of different locations with rich descriptions so that you get this kind of labyrinth feel to the school and its many dark secrets. And one of my favorite characters turned out to be Brenda, so wickedly well developed, and her dialogue always brought a wide grin to my face. Okay. I like the fact that there was a strong cast of young females amongst the smaller characters like Olivia, Ella, and Leslie, which felt very empowering to see them saving the day with their various powers. If you're into tons of action and a twisting, turning plot with great fantasy setting and reliable, accurate teen characters, they're teen characters, then I'm certain you'll enjoy Strange Things Await. Leaving off on a high note. Okay. So I'll do another video on Gates Bookstore and Darkness Things Awaits. Oh my goodness. Said my own title wrong. Darkness Awaits.